Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again here on a Thursday. One more day left in your work week. Broadcasting live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A reminder, we are out and about again tomorrow. Kelly's Bleachers, Blue Mound. Come see us before the game, where they're starting at 2 o'clock with this show till 5:30. Then the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wirtz from 5:30 to 7. All kinds of prizes to give away. We'll be doing trivia throughout both shows, giving away prizes that way. T-shirts, hats, pop sockets for phones. And we literally are out Monday. Same thing on Monday, except this time we'll be at Brewski's on 76th and Blue Mound. Then on Tuesday at Stenny's at Lake Country in Pewaukee. Wednesday, this show will be out with Mitch Thunder Nellis because I'm off on Wednesday through the rest of the week. Wednesday, Thunder will be out with our guy Tommy Wirtz at Stenny's on 5th and National. So come on out, check us out, and have a chance to win some cool swag to go along with that before, a lot of you will probably hop on the shuttle, head on down to American Family Field. And it's Brewers and Giants, the first 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then, of course, after that, we get to talking about the idea of Arizona and the D-backs coming in for their, I believe, 4-game set after the Giants starting on Monday. And it's all brought to us by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. So thanks to them for being a sponsor of all of our remote broadcasts, our pregame parties, I guess we're calling them, for the rest of the year before day-night games at American Family Field. So we'll see you tomorrow. Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. Brewers up 4-1, bottom of 9. Carson Kelly, who had 1 hit in the series, just got his 2nd hit of the series, leadoff single against Trevor McGill. So we'll see how McGill does after giving up the leadoff single. I was looking at the power rankings for baseball, and obviously on ESPN, number 1 is your Milwaukee Brewers. And in it, it says something that I find interesting, right? Right now, as we sit, the Brewers have an 82% chance of landing the coveted number 1 slot. That's a pretty good percentage considering it's August 21st right now, Charlie?
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal for this Milwaukee Brewers team. Again, getting through 1 round of the playoffs just for free would be pretty nice for a team that's struggled to do that in the past.
They have had the 1 seed in the playoffs twice in the history of this organization. The first time they had it was 82 and they went to the World Series. The second time they had it was 2018 and they fell just short against the Dodgers in the NLCS. So the other 2 times they've had it, they got past the first series that they had to face and got themselves to either the series or to the league championship series. So from that perspective, you feel good about things if you can continue to do what you're trying to do here. I mean, listen here. The Brewers right now are still 5 games up over the Phillies in the race for the NL top seed against Philadelphia, and the Brewers lost 3 straight and still hold a 5-game lead coming into today where the Brewers are up 4-1 with 1 out.
That just puts into perspective how dominant of a team they've been throughout this past 2 months.
2.5 months?
Yeah.
Started middle of May.
It's just been absolutely absurd. Like I keep saying, it
3
feels like a
months.
video game team, man. Even
Yes.
these games that they've lost, these past 3 games, they never really felt like they were out of them at any point in any of those games, man. And they weren't the most fun games to watch compared to the ones we've seen. This Brewers team is just on a different level at this point.
Yeah, they are. And they're playing really, really well. And the other part about this, too, I think, from the aspect of the mentality of this team and kind of where we're at. Did you hear Pat Murphy's presser at all last night? Did you see Pat Murphy's presser last night?
I did not, no.
You did not? Well, let me play for you. Pat Murphy, I would say, for about the first time this year, lost his cool after the game last night. And I want to make sure I play the right clip here. Here we go. Pat Murphy, Todd Rozak, nice guy. Like Todd Rozak, very nice guy. Check this out from last night.
Murph, was the feeling from the guys in there a good one, a positive one after you talked?
No.
Did you get a good sense from them?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm just asking. Negative? I'm just asking.
No. That's kind of a dumb question, but yeah, it was a great sense. The guys are in great spirits. They're in line to break a franchise record for wins. Why wouldn't they be in a great frame of mind? You think that this is going to? Think they're not professional players, and you think that would make them think they're not a good team?
No, I don't think that at all.
You constantly calling them underdogs all the time. You constantly saying that nobody believes in them and that they shouldn't be doing this all the time is the reason that people ask you that question. Because when you are down, you would think they'd have the same mentality. You can't all of a sudden flip around and say, like, why would you say that? We're the best team in the history of the Milwaukee Brewers that they've ever seen. You can't talk like that. Are you just trying to be negative stuff? No, you're constantly negative. You're constantly saying they're worse than they are. That's insane for you to turn around and say that to them. For like the first time in a really long time, I don't want to agree with Pat Murphy at all on this.
This is the thing for me. So we had during the Mason Crosby show earlier today, brought to you by Verizon. I was filling in for Mason and Thunder, and we had a guy in the dugout, our YouTube chat, that brought up the idea that he was mad that Mizorowski last night was like chuckling or smiling after he walked three dudes. He's like, what the heck is that all about, dude? Like, take your job seriously, and got all mad. And we talked about that all out and whatever else. Go back, listen to it. I think it was pretty good conversation we had about that. But then fast forward and you get to this answer where he goes, of course we're in good spirits. Yeah, we've lost 3 in a row, but now we're on pace to be the best team in Brewers history. Now, again, a fan that's mad that Mizorowski is chuckling, smiling, whatever he's doing on the mound after walking 3 dudes. Isn't that fan livid by that answer by Pat Murphy that they're not mad, that they're not irritated, that they're not down after losing 3 straight to the rival Cubs who are in second place in this division? Don't you think those fans that are mad at Miz would be mad at Pat Murphy for saying that too?
Probably. You would think so. And honestly, people shouldn't be mad at Miz, in my opinion. I think Pat Murphy is probably pretty bad at Miz. When other guys have walked that many players, he just sends them straight down to AAA in the past. He can't do that with Jacob Mizorowski because this guy's just too good to be doing that. So, yeah, I'm assuming he's pretty frustrated that he wasn't taking his job as seriously. But also, like we've heard, like we've seen, that's who Jacob Mizorowski is. He goes out there and just has fun. Like, that's all he does. It doesn't matter if he's playing bad or playing good. He goes out there and has a good time. He just likes living in the moment. And if that's going to be one of your key pieces of this franchise for at least the next 5 seasons, I don't know. You kind of have to get over that as the manager of the team and start figuring out other ways to get them motivated. Right now, this team doesn't need that type of motivation. And for some reason, he keeps giving them that underdog mentality motivation behind them. They're a good team. If you feel like that, you should have said that 2 weeks ago instead of going through all this bull crap that you've been going through.
That's exactly what it is, bull crap, and I agree with that exactly. Brewers get the win 4-1 over the Chicago Cubs. Charlie was talking. He didn't see it. Caleb Durbin, the last out of this game. Okay, he gets to the ball at third base. Great. The throw? I don't even know. Like, I think it hit the infield grass, like where the pitcher is, that area. I think it hit there and then took off on a skid, maybe to first base. Like, if you're playing on turf, right, and you're not strong enough, they teach you to like one hop it to first base to get that skid over there versus overthrowing first or throwing short in it going by. I don't think he was trying to do that. I think it was just not necessarily a great throw. It worked. Vaughn caught the ball, thankfully, on the hop at first base. The trader went and looked at the replay. No, we're good. Let's go home. And that's that. And 7 games back now are the Chicago Cubs. Let's hear about it, Brewers fans. Let's talk about a Brewers victory. Now 7 games up. Yeah, they lost 3 out of 5. But like we said yesterday, if the Brewers win last night, today doesn't mean much at all. And it's no different. They win today, they lose last night. They lost the season series. In reality, with a 7-game lead after the game is done on August 21st, you better be able to hold a 7-game lead between now and the end of September. That season series should not matter at all before this whole thing is said and done. If you blow a 7-game lead, you're going to lose like what? 6-10 games in a row, something like that? Or the Cubs are going to have to throw out their own 14-game winning streak to climb back into this, Charlie.
Which both of those are unlikely, but not impossible,
True.
if we're being honest.
Agreed.
I think this is...
But it would have to be a little craziness in order for it to work.
This is one of the only sports that I feel like you consistently get at least a little bit of that craziness at the end of the season, no matter what division it is, or if it's the American League or National League. There's 2 or 3 teams that are just fighting at the end of the season way more than they were fighting 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. And I feel like this is something that may come down to the wire here. I'm still really confident in this Brewers team, though.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this is the thing with the Brewers as we sit here today. You now get to come home, short little drive, flight, whatever they're doing from Wrigley, right? You get to come home, and now you get 2 teams that aren't playing well. You get the Giants and you get the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Charlie said the Diamondbacks fired their third base coach. So they're really reeling, but they blew up their team. They traded Suarez. They did all this stuff. Like, you knew that was about to go backwards. So now you get 7 games at American Family Field to where you can continue to build on your lead overall in the National League for the 1 seed, continue to build on your lead overall in the division against the Chicago Cubs. Who do the Cubs have for their next 2 series here as far as how tough are the Cubs' next 2 series going ahead? Because eventually the Brewers are going to get to a situation where they get the Blue Jays and the Phillies back-to-back. That's going to be tough, obviously. Who do the Cubs have here the next 2?
The Cubs have a pretty easy stretch moving forward here. So they have Los Angeles Angels coming up next at Los Angeles, then
Very
San Francisco,
winnable.
And then Colorado after that, too.
So it's a West Coast trip?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Anything can happen on a West Coast trip. Anything can happen. When you're coming from the Central Time Zone and you're going west, Brewers fans, we know, right? It doesn't matter how good you're playing, how bad they're playing, but that change of time, that travel, all of that, man, can mess you all up and create you in a funk. And I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, hell, they even complaining about in the NFL, having to go play in Seattle or San Francisco and being able to adjust to the time difference and all that stuff. Anything is possible. These dudes are going on a 3-city West Coast trip. Hey, and you're at home in your own bed with the Giants and the D-backs? Yeah, I feel pretty good about that, Charlie. I feel pretty happy with a 7-game lead after today.
I definitely feel a lot more confident with a home stint than an away stint like you're talking about with the Cubs.
Yes. No, especially West Coast. Like, it's one thing if you're in like Philly, New York, Atlanta.
Still 3 series away is not a fun thing to do at any point in the season, no matter who those 3 teams are.
Correct. Brewers had their longest road trip of the season back in like May or whatever it was. So they got theirs out of the way early. All right, let's take your calls. Let's celebrate a Brewers victory here. 7 games up. And let's talk about it. Nicolay Law Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Sound off with a recorded voice message there on the Odyssey app or use Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for your fan weather forecast. 76 degrees outside right now. Clear skies for tonight and a low of 59. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Charlie using other side of the glass. The Brewers do their thing. They take it to the Cubs today. Let's hear from you, Brewers fans. Nicolay Law Fan Talk, a text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee.
2-0 is the count, and Terang, that's on the barrel. That is way back. Goodbye! Bryce Terang keeps it going. A 2-run home run. And the Brewers are on the board. A wind-defying home run for Bryce Terang. Wow. His 8th of the month.
All right, I'll be honest. I missed that. I was not in the studio when it happened, but I came in. I was like, how'd they get 2? And Charlie, you saw it. So Brian Anderson on FanDuel Sports Network was got to his wind-defying. What are we talking about here?
It was a bomb. Like, it was a no-doubter in a stadium that throughout this entire series has not allowed home runs very easy. It's been guys just jacking the ball. This was the, biggest jack of the entire series so far.
That's awesome. So Bryce Terang stays out, even though he's batting at the bottom of the lineup in the 7th spot. So he gives the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Brewers now up 2-1. Priester did his job today. We'll get into the box score here momentarily. But then Monasterio's on first, and up comes Sal Frelick. And in the 8th inning. So this is late. 1-run game, 8th inning, Monasterio on first, and this happens.
That's a deep fly ball to right field. Frelick sends Tucker back. In the corner it goes. It is a fair ball. Monasterio fell down. He's going to make it to third. It holds Frelick to a double. And the Brewers are set up now with one away. 2nd and 3rd on the Frelick double down the right field line. Monasterio was down in a heap. It was an odd play by Tucker. You can understand because it went into the shadow. I'm not sure Monasterio knew he dropped it or it wasn't caught.
Yeah. Okay, couple of things. Number one, Kyle Tucker is going towards the wall in foul territory in right field, right? So he's on a sprint. Here we go. And as Brian Anderson pointed out, it was in the shadow where the foul line ball was versus, where the ball was, all that. So he's running. He looks over to see where the wall is so he didn't collide with the wall and then decided, I don't want to run that hard into the wall, so I'm just going to slide towards the wall so I don't hit the wall. Well, once he made that decision, the ball bounced and went rolling away from him when he decided to go, as I call it, make a business decision. But again, you saw the story last night. He's playing with a jacked up hand that's got a fracture in it. So you understand kind of what's going on there. Meanwhile, our guy Andrew Monasterio takes off from first base. First of all, he goes right a second, and it was like a cartoon. He went to throw on the brakes and like Bugs Bunny in a cartoon. Whoop! Goes down. Now he gets up, sees the ball, goes, oh, I got to go. So now he goes up to round second base, whoop, goes down again. I swear to you, it was Bugs Bunny running the bases. I swear to you, it was Bugs Bunny.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was so good. I'm so glad they still won the game because if they didn't, that would have been talked about in a very more.
If he doesn't score,
it would have been talked about in a much more negative light.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I was livid. I'm sitting going, you've got to be kidding me, man. So 2nd and 3rd at that point. Now, up comes our guy, Isaac Collins, who hasn't had a hit since his baby was born. And guess what? He delivers.
Collins rifles one into the gap right center. This is going to bring in 2. Collins stops at first. 2 RBI single. And the Brewers are up 4-1 as Isaac Collins delivers.
I don't know how much happier anybody could be for Isaac Collins. Did you see what he did when he got to first base and was looking in the dugout?
I didn't see, no.
The whole putting the baby to bed, rocking the baby type deal. That was his motion towards the Brewers dugout, and that'll do it. That'll give us the 3-run lead, and it's done. So on the day for the Milwaukee Brewers, Quinn Priester, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts. 95 pitches. All you mad at Jacob Misiorowski, here's Quinn Priester. And again, what was Priester's thing that everybody was mad about with Quinn Priester prior to getting here? He would lose control. He would walk guys. Guess what reared its ugly head today? lose control, walking guys, like happened to Mizorowski in one inning yesterday. So 4 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, 4 Ks. Pat Murphy, has he talked yet? I don't think so.
Not yet, no.
Will he go after Priester the way he went after Mizorowski when he said, that's not acceptable. Whether it's focus, whatever, it's not acceptable. Okay? Is he going to do the same thing for Priester today? Because he loves Quinn Priester.
I mean, he kind of has to. This is how he's treated, not just Jacob Mizorowski going after that. Tobias Myers got that. Chad Patrick got a little bit of that when he was getting a little wild towards the end of his stint with the Brewers there. I mean, these are all players that are having the same kind of issues. If you treat one guy different than the other, especially a guy that, again, doesn't have the star power of a Jacob Mizorowski right now, I mean, that's going to look bad on you.
That's the thing that, for me, listen, I respect Pat Murphy. I think Pat Murphy's a hell of a manager and everything else. The one thing that happens here is he has no issue calling dudes out all year. He did it last year, and he's done it more this year. Like last year, I felt like, okay, I'm putting training wheels on these guys. They don't know what I expect. Fine. Now you come into this year, and it's like, okay, y'all know what I'm not going to deal with. Y'all know I'm not playing. So y'all screw up. I'm talking to the media. The same thing I'd say to you, I'm saying to them. So deal with it, right? That's kind of what it felt like this year. And it's, for the most part, worked for the Milwaukee Brewers, right? And it's worked for the players. Nobody's gotten overly sensitive about anything Murphy has said one way or the other, and they just got to deal with it. But I would like consistency. So let's see what he says about Priester. Because even in the beginning of the year, when Priester was having issues, what would he say? Oh, but he really rebounded good after that inning. That's the type of mental makeup we're talking about. That's what we like to see out of our guy, Priester. So he's been a defender of Priester, even going back to the beginning of the season in April.
I think that's because Quinn Priester is an underdog. He was the guy that was given up on by two other organizations.
You're using the stupid underdog
thing. But I think that's why Pat Murphy latches onto these guys. I think a guy like Tobias Myers, a guy like Jacob Mizorowski, you kind of have to treat them a little bit different because they didn't have all these other failed attempts before them. Tobias Myers, it took him a little while to get going in the MLB, but once he was at the MLB level, he was good. Absolutely. He did his job. He was really good last season. Jacob Mizorowski is the same thing. So I think Pat Murphy, when going to those guys, he wants to put a little bit more pressure on them because they haven't had that pressure and failed before this, at least at the MLB level. A guy like Quinn Priester has failed before this. A guy like Caleb Durbin started at a D3 school and ended up and dug his way all the way to the MLB level. He appreciates that he's gone through that and failed before. I think right now he's just trying to get these guys to recognize that failing is okay, but he's doing it in more of kind of like a mean way, a bully way, but it's also kind of a loving father type of way. Exactly.
It's working. You can like it, not like it, whatever, but it's working for Pat Murphy. It's working for the Milwaukee Brewers. That is win number 80, you all. That is 80 wins on the season. They are one win away from saying they will not have a losing season at 81. They are 2 wins away from claiming a winning season. More than likely, they will have 82 wins by the time we come back here on Monday, is my guess. The odds of them winning 2 out of 3 against the Giants, I feel fairly confident about. So they're probably going to be at 82 or 83 wins by the time we come back Monday, and we aren't done with August.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty nuts. What happens if they don't win 2 out of 3? Let's say they lose 2 out of 3, maybe get swept. Are you a little more concerned than you were before the series?
Depends how it happens, I guess. Who is at fault? Who isn't making the plays? I don't know. I guess we'd have to wait and see. Listen, I think if you're being honest with yourself, you have to understand that there probably is going to be bumps between now and the end of the year, right? So if you have a bumpy week ahead, okay, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get yourself back to playing 500, whatever the case may be, and then try and find your swag in the last week or 2 of the season going into the playoffs. Because that's really when you want to have the swag, is going into the playoffs. Teams that are hot going into the postseason normally are teams that catch fire and go to the World Series. Now, this is going to be different for the Milwaukee Brewers because let's say they do catch fire in the last week. Then they wait because they have a bye. So now they wait and they don't play. So all of that momentum very well may stop and be done. But if you remember, Charlie, going into the All-Star break, I said, oh my God, please. I do not want the All-Star break right now. They're playing really well. Come out of this All-Star break. They could be a mess and not playing well anymore. They came out of the All-Star break like gangbusters against the Dodgers, took those boys to the woodshed. And that was the end of that. And away they went. So we saw them have a break before it come out on the other side just as hot. So that's what you want. Now, the other side of this that I think is a positive for the Brewers is, let's say they lose 3 of their last 5 or 5 of their last 8 at the end of September. But then you get a break to reset yourself, get yourself back in the right frame of mind, and then go in the postseason. So I think that break can also help them if they aren't playing well at the end of the season.
I think so. This is not a team that I'm worried about messing up after that break. Like you said, they came into the second half of the season like crazy, like madmen, and were just destroying every team that was coming up to them. This is kind of a big deal for this Brewers team. I haven't had this type of confidence in this team this late in the season in a really long time. Craig Timber was for real for this Brewers team. It kind of felt like the moment we got to September, everything was just going to start going downhill for this team. I don't feel like that right now, which is something that I haven't felt since 2018, which is something that I haven't felt since 2011, man.
Right.
This is a team that I'm confident can always pick themselves up no matter how down they get, and we've seen that time and time again this season.
Yeah, and again, when we talk about this Brewers team and how they've been playing and so forth, they've been playing incredibly well for 3 months now. If you go back to the middle of May, where everybody likes to track back stats to when this thing kind of started, it's been really, really good. I mean, the odds are really stacked against them to all of a sudden go into some month-long funk and get beat right away in the first round. It really is kind of against them. Let's go inside the box score. Obviously, we'll take your calls as well on a big Brewers victory today over the Cubs' 7-game lead. Nicolay Love Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can sound off with a recorded voice message there on the Odyssey app, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Stream us on YouTube. Like, follow, share, and subscribe on YouTube, streaming all of our local shows there, videos, YouTube shorts, the whole deal. The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. Sal Frelick, 2 for 4 today with a run scored. Isaac Collins finally breaks out of his funk. 1 for 4, 2 big RBIs to extend that lead to 4-1. William Contreras, 0 for on the day with a walk and a strikeout. Christian Yelich, 0 for on the day. He did have a run and a walk to go with 2 strikeouts. Andrew Vaughn with an 0 for on the day with a walk. Now think about that. That's your middle of your order. 3, 4, 5, went 0 for 9, but contributed 3 walks and a run scored. So all 3 guys figured out a way to get on base, and 1 figured out a way to score, even though none of them had hits, Charlie.
That's taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. That's what the Brewers do best. And again, we talked about for this past 3-game slide, the Brewers are making a lot of mistakes, and I think trying to force themselves to not make mistakes, and it was messing them up. It's more so let the mistakes come to you from the other team and then take advantage. Don't try to even it out by yourself.
Fewest games to get to 80 wins for the Brewers in team history. This year, 128 games. That 82 team was 135 games. The 21 team, 132 games, which was the previous record. So, again, Brewers doing some pretty monumental stuff right now in Brewers history. Okay, after Andrew Vaughn, 0 for 3. Caleb Durbin, 0 for 4 on the day. Terang, 2 for 4, a run scored, 2 RBIs, including that 2-run shot. Then Lockridge was 0 for 2 on the day. Perkins 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts on the day. Ortiz 1 for 2. Monasterio hit it off the end of the bat. That's how he got on base. And then he slided around second base a couple of times. He did have a run scored, and then Isaac Collins, big hit. Pitching, we talked about Priester, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, 4 Ks. Nick Mears, 2/3, scoreless relief. Big outs there in the 5th inning when the Cubs had runners on the base against Priester. Were you going to say something?
I'm sure we'll hear it, but just to let you know how Pat Murphy started his press conference was Quinn Priester was good.
See,
he was fine today. He was really good.
That's that again. He's got double standards, man. And we've talked about this before about coaches having double standards. The other dude he loves and is not going to say anything bad about, Sal. The other dude he loves ain't going to say nothing bad about, Monasterio, right? He's got his pets that he loves petting on all the time. This year, you walk 5 dudes and you're going to tell me he pitched good, he was fine? You must be joking. What is the difference between what Miz did last night and what he just did out there today? Tell me the difference.
Miz had a smile on his face and hasn't had the adversity before this. That's it.
Absolute crap. Grant Anderson, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Jared Canning, 1 inning, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. No runs allowed there. Uribe, 1 inning, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And McGill, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs. No runs from the 5th inning on for the Milwaukee Brewers today. A masterclass from the bullpen of Mears, Anderson, Koenig, Uribe, McGill with save number 30 on the year for Trevor McGill. And there was all this, oh no, what are they going to do without Devin Williams? Oh no, what are they going to do without Josh Hader? And you know what is said by the Milwaukee Brewers? We got it. And if McGill goes somewhere, don't worry, I got Uribe. And if Uribe goes somewhere, don't worry, I got a plethora of other pitchers in this organization. I'll move up into this spot if need be.
Or you just go and pick up a guy like Trevor McGill from somewhere who wasn't as good as he was advertised.
Coach him up.
And you coach him up. You just figure it out. That's all they ever do is just figure it out.
We were talking about this earlier on Mason Crosby's show too. More than likely, Mizorowski is going to be in the bullpen now, right? So if it's Woodruff, Peralta, and Priester as your front 3 in the playoffs, with a Quintana maybe as a game 4 pitcher if you decide to go that way, then Mizorowski's coming out of the pen. DL Hall looks like he's not going to be ready till late September if he comes back. Well, he's a lefty. So do they make the decision to go with Robert Gasser, who is getting closer? He's up to now over 50 pitches. And does Gasser end up becoming a guy that comes out of the bullpen for the Brewers, a guy that nobody has seen this year that throws gas, right? And coming out of the bullpen with Mizorowski and 2 guys that very well, and Mizorowski and Gasser, will be in this rotation next year.
I mean, that would be a pretty cool situation. Just the problem is he's coming off an injury. He's a guy that you expect to be a part of this rotation moving forward. I know you want to give him that little bit of a start here. You want to give yourself that wild card that not a lot of people are going to expect coming. At the same time, you have the best damn rotation in baseball, probably the best bullpen in baseball. I know you want to make it stronger any chance you can get, but also it's pretty consistent at this point. I don't know if you want to break up that consistency at all by putting a new face into that group.
Well, you're not going to have a choice. If DL Hall is not ready to come back to pitch, you're going to have to put somebody else out there. And furthermore, we'll see where we are at the end of September, but how much wear and tear are going to be on these arms? They're among the league leaders in appearances for a number of these guys out of the bullpen this year.
Yeah, it's been pretty insane how healthy they've been able to stay despite throwing these guys as much as they have. Abner Uribe feels like he pitches every single day, man.
Every day.
Jared Koenig lately has felt like he's pitching every single day. Trevor McGill feels like he pitches way more than he needs to at points. It's kind of insane that they are able to go back on that mound every single day like they are.
And that's the thing, right? So you worry about that eventually catching up to the Brewers and then how they handle that going forward once you get to the postseason. That has got to be something that is talked about from a conversation standpoint, I would think, with Chris Hook and Matt Arnold, with Chris Hook and Pat Murphy and Jim Henderson, the bullpen coach, to go along with that and Pat Murphy as far as watching these innings, watching appearances here in the last month, especially if you get to the point where you're up, say 10 games in the division and say you're 7 or 8 up in with the lead in the NL for the 1 seed. Don't you have to start talking about starting to not use these guys maybe as much? And guys like Ashby are going to be expected to do 2 or 3 innings more often than what they maybe have been asked to this point.
I think if you're going to make that decision, though, you have to be comfortable with the fact that you may lose that 1 seed. I think that's what you have to come down with.
I'm saying. If you're up by 7 or 8 games and it's September 10th,
that's September 10th.
That's what I'm saying, right? And you've got 3 weeks to go in the season, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks to go in the season. At that point, you got to be like, okay, guys, Gasser, you're in. Ashby, you're in. And we're putting you in the 7th, and we're expecting you to roll out as best you can. That's what I'm looking at.
I think you could work with that, but also, again, you don't want to get those guys injured too now at this point. Ashby's been important in this bullpen. Robert Gasser is going to be coming off injury, and you've been so careful with Brandon Woodruff and Jacob Mizorowski and all these players that are all injury risks. You've been so careful with them. You can't just all of a sudden be, again, uncareful with a guy like Robert Gasser. That's not the consistency that we've seen all season from this team, and you can't start being inconsistent now.
That's a great point. No, I don't. You got to make sure you don't get him hurt, right, is the point. Like, you don't want him out of that rotation next year because he suffers another injury and then has to miss a lot of time. I totally understand that and get down with that. All right, take a quick time. I'll come back on the other side. Brewers get the win. We'll talk more about that, and we'll talk about things that we missed on today's show. Don't forget, Potawatomi Sportsbook. They're taking you to and from Brewers home games, and you got a 7-game homestand coming up here tomorrow. Giants and then the D-backs. Not a better place to go to get to and from the game. Potawatomi Sportsbook. They got 2 shuttles. Start an hour before the game, go to an hour after the game. You can make same day bet on a game. That'll get you on the shuttle. Make a purchase in the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That'll get you on the shuttle. It's a beautiful thing. You go over there, have a couple beverages, 48 beers on tap, dozen specialty cocktails. You got, maybe you want a bite of food before you head over to the game. Maybe you have dinner there, then you go over to the game, right? Fine dining restaurants. Eat at the Potawatomi Sportsbook all day brunch, burgers, wraps, salads, homemade desserts and pastries. Perfect place to eat. Make a couple wagers, maybe bet on the Brewers to win. I'll be honest. Next 7, if I'm going to the game and I'm taking that shuttle, I'm betting the Brewers to win, regardless of pitching matchup, if I'm taking the shuttle to the game.
I think you kind of have to. I think that's the
Even
best luck you can possibly have.
$5, $10, I'm betting something, and then I'm getting money back to pay for the couple of beverages that I had at the game or whatever.
Well, and especially if you're listening to Austin Herdina on the leadoff show before then, man, he's got you locked in better than anybody else.
Right. You bet straight up for the Brewers to win, and then you go with whatever parlay that Herdina tells you to bet on the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And again, tomorrow we're at Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's there from 2 until 5:30. I'll be broadcasting. 5:30 to 7, Tommy Wirtz will be there as well, doing the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. T-shirts to give away, hats to give away, pop sockets for your phones to give away, stress balls to give away. All tomorrow at Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. Come on out and say hi. Would really appreciate it. And really looking forward to seeing everybody and saying hi and all of that fun stuff. And again, it's brought to you by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Sparky here. Charlie using other side of the glass. The meal of misfortune, devised by Wednesday Addams, is available now at Wendy's, where you must surrender to your fate. It comes with rest and 10-piece nugs, small cursed and crispy fries, and a small Raven's Blood Frosty, and of course, 2 of 4 mysterious dips of dread to up the torment. In Wednesday's words, it's pure torture and tribute to the suffering that awaits us all from the dips of dread. And the best part is, you never know which you'll get. Each uniquely insufferable in its own torturous way. It's got to be Wendy's. Watch Wednesday Season 2 only on Netflix. Available for limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's while supplies last. So I was looking online here, and the Brewers obviously get the win today, which was a nice thing to see over the Chicago Cubs and win 4-1, which is great. However, the story of the day outside of that are the fights that transpired in Green Bay at Packers practice with the Seattle Seahawks today that resulted in right tackle Zach Tom getting booted out of the joint practice as well after exchanging punches with Seahawks linebacker Ernest Jones IV and cornerback Devin Witherspoon. Kay Adams is at the camp, and she's from up in Adams. She used to be the morning host on the NFL Network for their Good Morning Football program, and very, very popular on social media and so forth. I think she's very good at what she does. So she was there to interview all these different people, whether it be Love, LaFleur, I don't know if she got Goody or not, but the different players for her show. So she said it was probably the biggest training camp fight ever. Jordan Love afterwards said it was probably the biggest training camp fight that he had seen, Charlie. And if you want to see it, I'm sure you can just go on Google or on social media and Google Packers Seahawks fight, and you probably get a whole bunch of videos.
I mean, it seemed like a brawl, not just like a fight, but like a whole just group of guys just shoving each other. Nobody can really break it up. Nobody really seems like they want to break it up.
Both sidelines were on the field.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 2-on-1 or 4-on-4. Both sidelines were on the field mauling each other.
Right. It's just insane. I don't know how you can even possibly fathom taking control of that. And in that moment, I feel like, yes, like we talked about earlier in the show, you like that energy. You like that the team is going out there and playing aggressive and being aggressive through the whistle, maybe even after the whistle. At the same time, like, there's no reason to have the biggest fight in camp history, according to multiple people.
Let's talk about how it started, according to Zach Tom. Did you see this?
I did not see this, no.
Now, you tell me, you offensive lineman, you said you've been in fights in high school and college.
Yeah.
According to Zach Tom, his fight began when Jones entered Green Bay's huddle, attempting to go after a Packers ball carrier after the two had gone at it the previous snap. Said Tom, quote, this is from Rob Domowski of ESPN, quote, it's already disrespectful that they're in our huddle, and then somebody gets hit while we're in the huddle. Gotta have some pride, you know.
Sounds like I said before, a skill player is running his mouth with a defensive lineman or something, and the offensive lineman has to go and protect it. I mean, somebody going in your huddle trying to go after a guy like that, yeah, that's just beyond, again, what the sport is, what the game's supposed to be. It's a practice. It's not even a real game. So now you're just wasting time with that too. It's just all like, it just feels dumb. And then Zach Tom, yeah, you have to protect your guy, but also, do you need to be throwing punches? Anthony Belson, do you need to be squatting down into a fighting stance for all this? Push the guy out of there and tell him to shut up and get out of the way.
So that's the other thing. So that was on the offensive side going against the Seattle defense. On the other side of the field, Seattle's offense, Green Bay's defense, a Packers defender took a swing at Seahawks right guard Anthony Bradford during the most heated of those incidents as well. They were fighting on both sides of the field.
Did they say who the Packers player was?
No, Domowski did not say who it was. Packers defender took a swing at Seahawks right guard Anthony Bradford, it says.
Usually, again, I feel like that's a smaller guy that got bullied by the offensive lineman a little bit and got a little angry there.
Did you hear what happened after practice?
I didn't hear what happened after practice.
They went marching over to the Seahawks sideline and wanted more. The Packers. They weren't done. The Packers players like, hell with this. We're going to go finish this. And over there they went. And Leonard Williams, Seahawks defensive tackle, said, I didn't appreciate in general them coming to our sideline while practice was over. We've already broke the huddle. Guys are on our side. Their guys are on their side, and people are coming over here. It's hard with these joint practices because stuff like that always happens. You don't want it to happen, but it does. We try to avoid as much as possible, but I didn't appreciate it.
I mean, I feel like that's just guys getting fired up, ready for the season start. I get you don't appreciate it. I get they probably shouldn't have done that. At the same time, I mean, get over it. It's a preseason game, like you're saying. It's a practice, like you're saying, Leonard Williams. There's no reason to be like talking about it like this afterwards. It happened. You're not liking it. Move on now. You don't have to keep not appreciating it for the next 5 days like he probably will.
I tell you right now, if Jordan Love would have got hurt in this thing, already having a banged up thumb, and somebody would have came taking a shot at him, then I would have been mad, right? But as we talked about earlier in this show, and Mason Crosby really wants to talk about all this tomorrow on his show from 9 to 11. I'll be co-hosting with him. Tommy Wirtz producing. Thunder is off until Wednesday, so you'll hear Mason's take on all of this stuff that happened. As a fan, I'm good with this. I think as a player, providing nobody gets hurt and is lost for any period of time, I think they're good with it. I think it builds camaraderie. I think it builds chemistry. It builds belief in the guy next to you that he's got your back. I think it's all good. Coaches don't want it because A, they don't want injuries, and B, more than anything else, is they don't want practice interrupted. They're there to get work done, and all of these commotions just take away from how much work they can get done, and a lot of time they have to work together, both teams, to get stuff done.
Well, and I think there's a certain group of players that will also look at this, and if it keeps happening, if this is a player that is constantly getting in fights with people or getting mad at people and causing a problem on the field, there is a group of players that's going to look at that and say, you're selfish. You don't need to be fighting all the time, especially if it's a player that may be getting their butt kicked sometimes. That's like cornerbacks. Again, I don't hate to keep going back at that group, but they're a group that gets beat a lot of the time because it's the hardest position in football sometimes.
Thank you. It is the hardest position in football.
It's impossible to cover some of these guys, but then some of these dudes will get beat and turn around and just shove a wide receiver for no reason, get a penalty, do all these dumb things that you just do not have to do. And when it starts getting to a point like that, then it's going to become a problem for the players on the team too, not just the coaching staff.
Yeah, and that is something, again, you could say whatever you want as coaches, but you don't have a helmet on. You don't have pads on. You're not out there in the heat of it, going back and forth, hearing dudes run their mouth, guys shoving each other and so forth. Like, all of that is just not going to happen where it's going to be, oh, yeah, I'm just going to walk away and not do anything. Like I teach my kid. Like, I don't want you to any fights, man. You know, somebody's talking, running their mouth or whatever. Just walk away. Like, do your thing. Having said that, I'm like, do not let anybody bully you. Like, if you feel like you got to stand up for yourself, then you do what you got to do, man. Like, don't let anybody bully you. Stand up and whatever. If you get beat, you get beat, but don't just sit there and take it. If you're walking away and somebody's like still pushing and doing whatever else, then you got to do what you got to do to get yourself out of that situation. Otherwise, the bullying is never going to stop.
No, it's not. You have to be able to stand up for yourself in some situations. But again, kind of like I was saying before, don't be the person to throw the first punch, but also don't be the person to not punch if somebody punches at you.
Yeah, there's an example all the time. Again, he's always going to be the smallest kid, right? He's always not going to be the strongest kid, whatever. But they were playing in a basketball game, was it last year? And this kid that was damn near twice his size kept elbowing him out of the way under the basket and everything else. And I'm just watching, seeing what's going to happen. And finally, he had enough. And they're running down the floor, and he was running next to this bigger kid. He took his elbow and threw it right into the middle of this kid's chest. And that was the end of it. Kid didn't touch him. The rest of the game, it was over. It was all done.
Sometimes you need to put people in their place, man.
And I'm just like, hey, man, I was proud of him. I was like, good for you, man. He's like, Dad, I was sick of it. I was trying to maintain my composure, trying to get rebounds. I know I'm like the smallest kid under here, but he kept hitting me, and I had my fill. I was like, hey, I'm good with it. I got no issues with it, none whatsoever.
Make it sneaky, too, though, next time. You know.
Oh, that was at center court. Boom, drops the elbow in his chest. I was like, well, that'll take care of it. So then I wanted to see if that kid was going to retaliate, see what was going to happen. Nope. Didn't touch him, didn't say a word to him, nothing the rest of the game. That was all done. That'll do it for today's show. Tomorrow on the road, Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. Come on out. See your boy. See Tommy Wirtz. We're there from 2 until 7 o'clock at Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. TVs everywhere, great food, drink, all that fun stuff. We got t-shirts to give away, bucket hats to give away, pop sockets for your phone, stress balls, all that cool stuff. Come on out, hang out with us at Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound tomorrow. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good one. Toodles.